Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. Get your seat at the round table. This is New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle 2020 Pay-Per-View Roundtable Review. I am here with some good brothers, some of the very best that True Hill Heat YouTube channel has to offer. I am here with the co-host of Joints and Jabronis, the co-host of Wednesday Night Warriors, the marijuana enthusiast of all the True Hills, Mr. Chris G.
Of course, with Mary Jane. First New Japan roundtable. I'm ready to smoke that strong style, baby.
He's representing. Mary Jane is filling in for J News. J News couldn't be with us, but we are diehard New Japan fans ourselves. So I have once again the roundtable rebel. He is the three-time baby making champion. This is Ness.
True Hills, what's the deal? What's going on, guys? Yeah, I had to not do the baby making champion gimmick. I didn't want to disrespect New Japan Pro Wrestling with that shitty WWE title that I use for my baby making champion. Like, you don't see me with the get up with the shades and the title.
Nah, you should have kept the shades at least.
Well, the shades maybe, but I definitely wasn't bringing that title on here for New Japan. I would never disrespect them like that.
You should have wore a monocle for one of the stars of New Japan that wore that Rocky said wore a monocle during the show.
I could have worked with that. But yeah, overall it was a great show, man. I'm happy to be here and report and review with the rest of these good brothers.
Absolutely. And then finally we have the host of Dark Power and the co-host along with Ness of Review of Honor, our newest show to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, the one, the only, the man of 1,004 numbers, the Stat King.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here, just like Ness and Chris. We had a great show, and looking forward to talking about it with you guys.
Yes, it is New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle, their last major show of 2020 before we go into 3-tournament season to end off 2020 for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But this is a reminder to you watching at home or watching on the road from your phone, your tablet, your TV, wherever you're watching. Drop us a thumbs up, give us a like to this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans and friends. Of course, there is the iCard down at the bottom if you haven't already, to push that to subscribe and the bell below that to click all notifications so you can get all the great content right here on True Hill Heat. So I will just go around the round table before we go through the matches. I need one word or one sentence to describe your overall view, your overall thoughts on New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle 2020. Ness, we will start with you.
I'm going to say interesting.
Interesting. That is a good one for sure. A lot of interesting outcomes in this show. Stat King.
I gotta echo what Ness is saying. I was gonna say shocking, but there was only a few things that were shocking, so I'll also go with interesting.
And then finally, Chris G.
It's not gonna be in a bad way, but I feel mixed about the pay-per-view.
So we have interesting, mixed, surprising. I will go with shocking. Yes, it was shocking. One result in particular. We will get to that, of course, but we have to start from the top of the show. This show opened. It was a 6-match card in Osaka, one of the best places where New Japan has shows. What was your guys' thoughts on the crowd on this show? I would say that the Osaka crowd, even from the G1 Climax 30, which in my opinion the best night of the whole entire tournament was night 13, which was also from Osaka. I think Osaka is the best crowd that New Japan has had since this lockdown. What do you guys think?
They brought a lot of energy, despite that's what I always find interesting is the ability of a crowd, particularly Japanese crowds, to bring energy despite not being allowed to say anything. Like just the level of investment that they have in the matches and their willingness to clap, even if it's just finding a way. Hey, we can clap Ibushi, even if it's just something as simple as that. Just being dedicated. I agree with you. They are one of the best crowds that New Japan has.
Chris, Ness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, man. Look, you want to go, Chris? Go ahead. Cool.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it definitely felt more full in terms of capacity than the prior New Japan shows that have been going on. That's probably the first thing I noticed. But I feel like we always get the energy with them, so it's just exciting to hear crowds.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing with New Japan shows that's different from everything else that's going on. There's no piped in crowd noise. It's actual people that are there. Any other thoughts, Ness?
Yeah, man. New Japan has, in my opinion, like the best crowds. They know when to react to things. They don't overdo it like some other places. They're not trying to get themselves over and just be obnoxious. They know how to respect the performers and respect the art of pro wrestling, and they show that every time.
Absolutely. And another quick reminder to you guys watching, put down in the comments below what you thought about the show, what you thought about the crowd in Osaka, what you thought about Power Struggle, and all the very interesting results. But we will start with the opening match, which was for the provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2020 trophy. It was a very unique stipulation, no corner pads matchup, as it was Toru Yano going one-on-one with Zack Sabre Jr. This was a opening match content. It went 12 minutes and 10 seconds. A lot of technical wrestling from, of course, Zack Sabre Jr., a lot of Yano shenanigans from Toru Yano, the Sublime Thief himself. And Toru Yano, after Zack Sabre Jr. locked in the heel hook on the outside through the guardrail on Toru Yano, the sublime thief that he is, tied the shoelaces of Zack Sabre Jr. together in the guardrail and then got back in the ring, breaking the 20 count to win this matchup by countout. I will give this match. It was a comedy match. It was Toru Yano, so this is what we pretty much expect from him. But he does try to at least a little bit of wrestling when he versus Zack Sabre Jr. So I'm gonna give this match 2.25 stars. Even though I did a write up for Sportskeeda and I gave it 2.5 stars. Maybe I was just laughing too much at the finish. But I'll give it 2.25 right here. We'll start with you, Chris.
Oh, I love this. I love this match. I was obviously ZSJ is a great heel, and I was curious to see how they would feed off each other with Yano's comedy. So he's so smooth in the ring, and Yano looked good. It looked like he could kind of move with CSJ for somebody his size for a little while. So it was the right amount of comedy. The finish was funny. It was good. Some shit that we would expect Yano to do. I liked it. I thought it was funny. That's my rating. It was funny.
Yes, funny is the rating from Chris G. We'll go to you, Stat King.
What a better way to start New Japan pay-per-view than with Chris's favorite wrestler. You got to. It's like best friends. You got to give the people what they want, and you got to give the people Toru Yano. I like this match for what it was supposed to be, just that easy way to break the ice, break the tension of everything that's supposed to happen tonight. Let's just start off with something nice, light, and easy. And Toru Yano picking up the win. I mean, I don't know what I like more, the way Toru Yano finds ways to win the matches or the meltdowns that Zack Sabre Jr. has after he loses matches. Either way, it's entertaining for me. So I'll give this one about 2.25 stars.
Yeah, I will say that Zack Sabre Jr.'s outburst of frustration after the match and nearly breaking the arm of Gabriel Kidd was one of the highlights of this whole entire segment of the show. Ness?
Also, can't forget he chases the guy after with the scissors that released him from having his shoestrings tied together. But this match was extremely, extremely entertaining. I didn't actually think this was going to be a real thing, a no corner turnbuckle pad match, but it's Toru Yano, so we don't think that he's being serious. He was being dead serious, and that just played up on his strength of his comedic wrestling. This match was just extremely entertaining. It was actually one spot where he's putting the turnbuckles back on the mat. Like, he's putting them back on. These guys known for taking them off. Now,
No,
there's
because
none in this match.
the funniest part was at the beginning when he started getting ran into the exposed turnbuckles. Then he went outside and got the quarterback. He's like, "Nah, I'm not with this shit."
Yeah, oh man, I gotta have second thoughts on this part. And like he's Irish whipping Zack Sabre Jr. into the corner, and there's a turnbuckle pad there. And he's like, "Oh shit, where'd this come from?" He was expecting like to get hurt. So like, that was definitely a nice aspect of the match. I gave it a 2.5 just because how funny it was.
Yeah,
Yano's, you're not gonna get like wrestling out of Yano. And I think the first time I've seen him actually do a wrestling move other than an atomic drop was him doing a belly to belly suplex. Like, I've never seen him do anything other than atomic drops or just sneaky underhanded shit.
Or a roll up.
Or roll up, yeah, that's the two things he does. Atomic drops and roll ups. That's his arsenal right there.
And he's saying, hey, I know we're doing a no corner pads match, but let's have a gentleman's agreement to not throw each other into the corners. And then he tries to throw Zack into the corner.
Like, as soon as the match starts.
Oh, great.
And he used the hand sanitizer and tried to get the count out victory early. So we got all the Yano shenanigans except for the tape. We didn't get any tape on this occasion. So that was the only thing missing, but definitely an entertaining matchup. Next up, we got something totally different from the next match was for the Never Openweight Championship, as it was the evil Japanese grandfather himself, Minoru Suzuki, going one-on-one with the Dragon of Los Ingobernables de Japón, Shingo Takagi. These two have been feuding ever since the summer. They met at Summer Struggle in Janku, where Minoru Suzuki defeated Shingo in a hard-hitting affair to win the Never Openweight Championship. Shingo got his win back on the G1 Climax 30 A Block Finals, and now this was the third and rubber match of their series of matches, and it was exactly what we expected. This one was hard-hitting, a whole bunch of strikes. This match started off with the two guys rushing each other and trading forearms for about the first minute of this matchup. The match finally ends as Shingo starts nailing lariats and pumping bombers on Suzuki, who didn't even fall down and just asked for more until Shingo had to go harder and stiffer with his pumping bombers to finally get Suzuki off his feet as he staggered to the ropes and then finally fell down. And then Takagi followed with the Last of the Dragon to become a two-time Never Openweight champion. This was an absolute banger. I gave it 4.5 stars. Ness, what was your thoughts on your LIJ member winning back some gold?
I gave this match 4.25, actually. To my surprise, I didn't think that Shingo was going to win. So I figured that, Suzuki literally just got the title and he was going to have somewhat more of a run with it. The match was brutal. These guys, every time they meet, somebody's getting hurt. Like, regardless of how many times they'll face each other, they're just going to try to up their game even more. And the best part about this match was, for me, Shingo winning, obviously. So, but, I really enjoyed this match. These two together, they can't do no wrong in my eyes. So it was a great match.
Stacking.
I feel as though every time they've had to increase the brutality of the match, and every single time they've found a way to do that. And that's something that I really appreciate about it, because you can have the same matchup over and over again, but if you find new ways to tell the same story, it's always going to feel fresh. And that's something they have continued to do. And just kudos to Shingo Takagi just for the year that he has had, even with the layoff of the pandemic, from before the pandemic to when they came back. Just, he's been knocking it out of the park. So a hard-fought win, but congratulations to him, new Never Openweight champion. I'll give this one about 4.25 as well.
Absolutely. And then finally, Chris G.
Holy shit. That's my review. Holy shit. I was so excited to talk about this. I gotta make sure I get my notes. This could have easily been a who has the best hair New Japan Wrestling match.
I love that.
Suzuki with the crazy fucking buzz cut, and Shingo with the mullet, and the fucking hair colors, amazing. I feel like every Suzuki fight, like when they go backstage, is like, all right, how do you want to play this? He goes, we're gonna take a few shots of sake, and then we're gonna go out there and beat the shit out of each other. Okay, sounds good. Let's do it. Cause that's what they did. They beat the shit out of each other with forearms, elbows, slaps. Then you got the occasional suplex. Suzuki kicking the life out of Shingo. I mean, these guys beat the dust out of each other. I liked every second of it. Every single second of it. I mean, it was nonstop. Everything felt harder as the match went by. Like, as it got on and on, the strikes felt even more impactful. It was just, shit blew my mind, man. It was a crazy match.
Yeah, this one went nearly 19 minutes. I can't get. I don't think I'll ever get enough of this matchup. That's the one thing that I've learned. All three matchups gave us something different, but it was always the same. Just hard hitting as we expected. Just never open weight type of match. What do you guys see as like the next step or what's next for Minoru Suzuki now that he's lost a new crown? Do you see him going after a different championship? Maybe get some vengeance on a fellow Suzuki member of Taichi who beat him in the G1. What do you guys see next for Minoru Suzuki? Let's start with you, Stat King.
I'd like to see, I don't know if he'd be successful, but I'd like to see him try to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship to try to separate the two of them. I know that the briefcase is for a match for both of them, so maybe it's something that they start for him for after Wrestle Kingdom. But I'd like to see him kind of maybe the Taichi thing for now to get into something like that. But I'd like to see him move towards more of the Intercontinental scene. That's what I'd like to see for him.
Ness.
I would like to see another match with Shingo. To be completely honest, you know, he literally just lost the title. So I mean, he might have a rematch clause. We really don't, you know. I don't want him to just rush into something else because these guys, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? These guys are putting on great matches, and I just don't want to see anything get rushed anywhere else. So I would definitely love to see this little feud of theirs continue.
Chris G?
I agree with Stat King. I mean, I feel like every time he gets a title, it's not really necessarily to have a long reign. It's just to defend it against somebody that needs the rub. So they'll have a hell of a match, and then the guy comes out better. You know, they both look great after the match. So a few guys might need that in that division if they decide to split up the titles again. So we'll see what happens.
I will say that I know there's been a lot of talk of people like splitting the titles, but I really feel like it's benefiting the Intercontinental Championship being connected to the heavyweight title. I think we're going to see it more when they eventually do split it up, but I think they need to go the full year from Wrestle Kingdom to Wrestle Kingdom with the titles together. And honestly, what a lot of people are not looking at by asking for the split is that it's really elevated the Never Openweight Championship with John Moxley not being in Japan with the U.S. title. The Never Openweight title has become the secondary title in New Japan and has thus elevated Shingo Takagi to really a main event status where I think if any of us saw him in the main event, we wouldn't even blink an eye. We would just be like, oh, he's earned this opportunity. But of course, one thing I will say, a prediction for Wrestle Kingdom, if you guys remember, Shingo Takagi took a couple of losses in the G1 Climax, and one of those losses was from the man that he beat originally for the Never Openweight Championship, Tomohiro Ishii. And I would love to see Shingo and Ishii at the Tokyo Dome. That's just me.
One thing's for sure, no matter what Suzuki does, he's going to be trying to use up every single ice pack that New Japan has. Like, absolutely.
I just only asked about Suzuki because he was left off the Wrestle Kingdom card last year, and I think that he has been, I talked about it on Wrestling Daily with Alex McCarthy. I said Kenny Omega has had the best in-ring year of anyone in professional wrestling, but I feel like right underneath him is Minoru Suzuki, 52 years old, and he's had bangers against Nagata, 3 bangers against Shingo, and he's had a hard-hitting match with Ishii, one of the matches of the year against Ibushi in the G1, so I just think that, you know, they should invest more into him while we still have him, even at 52 years old.
That was something that I was thinking of, not to give away anything about the rest of the card, but I was thinking, what if on one of the nights of Wrestle Kingdom there was a Suzuki Ibushi rematch? I thought maybe there might be something there.
That would be fun for sure, but we have to move on to our third contest of this show here. This one was the only match that wasn't for a certificate, a title shot, or a title or a provisional trophy. This was a singles grudge match as Kazuchika Okada went one-on-one with the Great Okan. Great Okan was making his singles debut in New Japan since his return from Excursion. This follows Great Okan joining up with Will Osprey at the G1 Climax 30 A-Block Finals to help him defeat Okada for the first time in his career, creating the Empire stable with Will Osprey. First thing that I got off the top is that Will Osprey. There was rumors from Uncle Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer that Osprey had talked to Chris Jericho about his heel turn, and that was obviously influenced here with him coming out with a little bit of the bubbly and coming out, and it really seems like he watched a bunch of Ric Flair tapes because he came out and he had that Ric Flair type swagger with the suit, with the glasses on and everything, kind of just in his chair rooting on Okan. This one was a decent match, but I will once again say that the finish came off a little flat with the money clip getting the victory for Okada by referee stoppage. After the match, it was the more talking point here as Will Osprey got in the ring and talked about explaining why he turned his back on Okada, saying that he used Okada to gain popularity in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he couldn't stand by Okada to get the moniker of best wrestler in the world. He also proclaimed that he wants to end Okada's career, and there's no better stage to do that than in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom 15. So it is now official after Okada accepted the challenge. It is Okada versus Osprey at Wrestle Kingdom 15, our first big match for the double shot at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th and 5th. First, guys, your thoughts on the match, and then your thoughts on Okada versus Osprey at Wrestle Kingdom. We will kick things off with Chris G.
I mean, I thought the match was all right. It was just like, it was nothing crazy. I'm not that was the first time I ever seen Okan. And I'm not a fan of the guy. He didn't show me nothing special. He has a unique look, which to start, I guess, he got a base. But he didn't really show me nothing crazy, and his chops are terrible. I'm sorry.
The Mongolian chops.
Yeah, they're terrible. I'm gonna give this match 2 stars. 2 stars. It feels like a 2-star match to me.
That's fair. That's fair. Ness, what was your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I just gotta piggyback what Chris said, man. Great Okan. He just don't do it for me. Like, I get he's a great specimen. Like, when you see him, he's towering over people. He looks like he is a threat, but it's just like him in the ring. It was just basic and extremely generic. So it just left a lot more for me to want to be seen from him. I actually like the finish because we're at a point where they're trying to build up the stable. Trying to build up the heel turn for the Empire and give these guys momentum. So a straight out clean loss definitely would have hurt them. So I actually like the fact that Okan didn't get pinned and he didn't tap. He just, referee stoppage. But overall, he could have just took the loss. Could have took it. Because I'm not a fan of the guy. Like, he didn't do nothing. He really didn't do nothing to impress me. So, but again, leading up to everything, I'm just like, this guy's big, and he dominated the match for the most part. But the thing was, his dominance really wasn't that great. And I felt that, Okada had to hold back a lot just for him to look good in this match. But, he ultimately lost anyway. So what the fuck? It didn't do anything for either one of them. So I gave the match 2 1/4. But the post-match things with Osprey and Okada, man, those guys, again, 2 of the best in the world, regardless of what Osprey was saying. He could stand next to Okada and still be recognized as one of the greatest wrestlers, if not the greatest wrestler in the world. And just like you said, Sid, he definitely was watching Ric Flair promo tapes because he was like, yeah, I got a 3,000-pound suit. I got a 2,000
My
pound
man came out
bottle.
looking like the UK Secret Service.
Honestly, yo, he's like,
he looked like light
I love
James
that
Bond
suit.
light.
I love that suit.
bro, he's like, I
He
got a
didn't James Bond's
10,000
Osprey.
pound watch and just threw it in the crowd. Like,
Yo,
man,
I was like, that costs a lot of money. What
money,
are you doing?
you just threw it. He's like, look, I don't even care about none of that. I just want to be the guy. I can get more of that by beating you and taking you out in any of your career. I'm just like, oof, yeah, that's the spice that we need from, that's what we need for this feud. And I definitely want to see this match. Two phenomenal individuals on their own together, they're going to create magic.
Absolutely, and they haven't let us down yet in their previous matches, so it's going to be great at the Tokyo Dome. Stacking.
So I just want to first off give major props to Kevin Kelly and the announce team for trying to sell us that Great Khan had the ability to do to Okada what Okada did to Tanahashi many years ago.
Oh, and man, they were killing me with that. They were killing me with that.
Kudos to Chris and Kevin Kelly. Rocky was just like, no, there's no way in hell. Rocky was like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, what is?
I love Rocky as the babyface biased motherfucker on commentary, calling
he's my best friend.
calling them the dump fire.
that was great. He's like, he's my best friend. Like, why am I gonna? No, this guy's an idiot. Like, look at him. He just looks stupid. And Rocky was to a certain extent right, because Great Khan is still very green in the ring. He went off and had that excursion. He was at Rev Pro, but yeah, he still looks pretty green in the ring. I gave the match about 2.25 stars. But again, that post match is just incredible. And what I like about it is that a heel has to believe that they are the hero of their story. They have to believe that they are right. And even if you, like Ness is saying, like, Osprey is wrong, because you can stand next to Okada and still be considered the best wrestler. But in Osprey's mind, he can't. And he believes it. And that's what's most important. So it's convincing. That's what I love about it. It's so convincing that he really does believe that this is what he had to do, even though there was really no need for him to do it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that Wrestle Kingdom match. Oh, then the other thing was he's giving his whole speech, and then Okada's like, I didn't get any of that. I only understood you, me, Wrestle Kingdom, and all right, cool, let's do it.
Yes, I loved Okada's response. Okada's response to it is perfect. You guys kind of said it best, that Will, in my opinion, was the best wrestler of the year last year in 2019, and he was standing next to Okada. So technically, he doesn't need to be not stand next to Okada to be recognized as one of the best wrestlers in the world. But like Stat King said, he just said his promo with so much conviction. It was probably one of the better Osprey promos I've ever heard. I was the high man on this match. I gave this match 2 3/4. Honestly, I would have went even 3 stars with this match, but like I said, the money clip still, I'm not 100% sold. It worked in the Shingo match, it worked in the Ishii match to me, but it didn't work here for me. I would have liked for Great Khan to tap out and to not have him on the same level of Ishii and Shingo, a bit of passing out by referee stoppage. That would have put over the money clip a little bit more, but 3 3/4. It was a decent match. Chris, what was your thoughts on the challenge? You were the only one. We haven't got your thoughts on Osprey versus Okada.
Oh, it's gonna be magic. That's it. There's no words to explain it. You just can't wait to watch it.
Absolutely, and they had one of the best matches of the year last year in the G1, a great match on the A block finals for the G1 Climax 30. So we know Wrestle Kingdom 15, it's going to be another terrific match. So we had our intermission with them sanitizing the ring. That's one thing I do want to make note of, is that I like that New Japan does that, and it gives you a nice break in between the card. Like, I wish other promotions would give us an intermission to like have a breather after certain matches or big challenges like we saw. If more promotions did that, I think I could take certain shows a little bit better. Like, in particular, not to point out AEW, but for All Out, maybe an intermission after Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara would have been nice, and maybe I could have got back into the matches a little bit more. So maybe you might want to take note from New Japan on that one. But next, when we came back from intermission, it was Kenta going one-on-one with the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, for the right to challenge the IWGP United States champion. This one was a well-paced, well-worked matchup. Tanahashi and Kenta really have good chemistry. They had a good match in the G1 Climax last year, a great match in this year's tournament where Tanahashi got the victory to earn this opportunity. Both guys traded submission holds with the cloverleaf into the game over, but it was finally Kenta who got a clean victory over Okada using the game over submission to win here and keep his briefcase. I gave this match 3 3/4 stars. I thought this was really these guys have like remarkable chemistry. This was a very good matchup. I think it was just on the cusp of being great when it finished. I think with a different finish, I kind of wanted Tanahashi to win, so that might be why I'm giving it an inch under 4 stars. But this was a very well worked matchup, well paced as well. What was your thoughts on this one, Ness?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the rating. I also gave it 3 3/4. And the pace from the last match, where we really didn't see that much greatness happen, transition to this match, and both of these guys, both world-class athletes, put on a phenomenal match. There was one spot that I loved where Kenta had Tanahashi up for the go to sleep, and Tanahashi counters with the sling blade out of it. That was excellent. I'm actually surprised that Tanahashi didn't win. I was actually expecting him to get the victory. I also like the fact that Kenta did retain the briefcase that he won via submission. You know, throughout most of the matches on the night, everybody won with pinfalls. The only match that we didn't see that resulted in a pinfall was the Okada and Great Okan match with, referee stoppage. So to see Kenta being the briefcase holder, he's saying, look, this is mine. You're not going to take it from me, and I'm going to put you through hell for even contemplating that you want to take this from me. And that's literally what it came down to, making Tanahashi tap via the game over. So 3 3/4 stars. This was a great match.
Chris G?
I liked it. Like you said, it was good pacing. I liked the back and forth. I feel like when the finish did happen, I wanted more. Like, I wanted to see more. So I think it was a little too short. I think they should have got a little bit more time. But can't complain. I give it 3.5 stars. It was a good match. I'm really looking forward to Kenta and Mox whenever it happens.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fits what we've seen from Moxley, his better matches with Ishii and Suzuki. I think that he's going to get like the same quality type of matchup from Kenta.
Out of brawlers, like Kenta can brawl too. So like, Like you just mentioned Suzuki, Ishii, those guys are certified brawlers. So that would definitely be an amazing matchup.
Stat King?
I like this one, and I particularly like the fact that Tanahashi submitted, simply because it's so rare for Tanahashi to tap out. I mean, to the point that last year, Jay White created a submission move literally called the Tanahashi tap out, just because of how rare it is to get a tap out win over Tanahashi. So to have Kenta do that, it just reinforces that he has momentum, that it's almost as though he is an uncrowned champion, and that makes it that much more difficult for Moxley coming back to retain the title. And it's building that push behind Kenta for you to say, wow, Bullet Club has 3 really big dogs at the top, and they're all jockeying for position. You got to see how all that's going to shake out. So regarding the match itself, I give it like 3 3/4. It did feel like it was missing a little bit, but for me, I did like the finish. So yeah, take from that what you will.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a short match by any stretch of the imagination. I think it just went under 20 minutes. But like I said, I thought it was well paced, and I wouldn't have been bothered by it a little bit more. So maybe it could have got that extra star rating with like 2 or 3 minutes more. So I agree with Chris G on that one. Final question about this match, though, guys. I am a huge Hiroshi Tanahashi fan, especially I feel like he was one of the unsung heroes of the G1 Climax 30, but a certain theme started in the G1 Climax 30 that was once again paced here. I talked about it in an article on Sportskeeda. I talked about it on the G1 Climax 30 finals with Tempest and J News. We have seen Tanahashi go from the ace to pretty much being a gatekeeper in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Do you guys feel like it's too soon for that? Do you like it, dislike it? What's your thoughts? We'll start with you, Christy.
I like it. I mean, out of all the top quality, say like veterans that New Japan has, they're all pretty much, besides maybe Ishii, I think Tanahashi is the other guy to be the gatekeeper. I mean, what else is really? He has other shit going on. He doesn't need to be the face of the company anymore. Is that he acts out there and shit? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like he has name value outside of wrestling. So I think him as the gatekeeper only elevates younger talent that goes up against him. Why not? It's a
Yeah, I mean, it's helping the people that are getting victories over him, but I mean, stuff like Goto beating him in the G1 pissed me off, so that's why I had to ask you guys. Stag King?
I think if you're going to have somebody, you have to have somebody in that role, and I think if you're going to have somebody in that role, Tanahashi fits it pretty perfectly. He's somebody who doesn't, in taking this loss, it doesn't mean that much against him as opposed to what it means for Kenta. And I think it also will continue to reinforce the work that Ibushi did carrying Golden Aces when they were a team. That's something to me that really is a big driving factor behind Ibushi's storyline of I wanted to team with somebody who I've looked up to for so long. I got the chance to do that. And when I did that, I found out, wow, this person is aging. They are starting to slow down a bit. I have to step it up because of how much I respect this person. And from that, what that did for Ibushi, I think it really helped him a lot. And that's just the little things that working with Tanahashi, even if you're not across the ring from him, can do for somebody. So again, if you have to have somebody in the gatekeeper position, which you do, somebody like Tanahashi makes perfect sense to me.
Ness?
For the lack of a better idea for me to use this comparison, as we know, Tanahashi is pretty much the New Japan Cena.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where he's at. So he's still very much active in the ring, and as Chris said, he does other things outside of wrestling in Japan as well. So it kind of makes sense that he is in that gatekeeper position where a win over Tanahashi validates whoever gets it. You know, they get the rub. It helps them, gives them momentum. Not only are they getting a win, but they're getting a win over, if not still the ace, someone that was the ace of New Japan. So I think now it might just be a time where, you know, they're just coasting with him because there's always a chance that they can throw him in the fold. I don't know about getting the IWGP heavyweight title again, or, you know, if they ever separate, well, eventually they're going to separate, you know, the IC title and the heavyweight title. I don't know if he'll ever get a run with that, but there's always a chance that they can always throw him back in the fold. You know, yes, he's getting slower and, you know, he's aging, but he can still go in the ring. It's not like other people that are up in age that we see in other promotions that definitely shouldn't be getting any type of main event looks. And I'm going off on a tangent here, but Tanahashi, he's in a spot where he's definitely helping and giving back to the business, that's what we call it. So I can't say that it's a bad thing. Would we like to see him get more and do more? Possibly, but I think at this time it's the right thing for him.
Fair points all around, guys, for sure. I think at 43 years old, Tanahashi is still at one of the best in the world today, and he just knows how to not do a lot, but do a lot for like facial expressions, body language, his selling. He's just on point with everything. So I had to ask what your guys' feelings was on him becoming a gatekeeper in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But we have to move on, guys, to the match that everyone will be talking about coming out of Power Struggle 2020. Kota Ibushi, the winner of the G1 Climax 30, defending his right to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships at Wrestle Kingdom against Switchblade Jay White. These guys have fought on 3 separate occasions before, with Kota Ibushi defeating Jay White in the G1 Climax 29 finals last year. Jay White got the victory back at the Tokyo Dome on January 5th at Wrestle Kingdom 14, and then Jay White defeated Ibushi in the G1 Climax 30 to earn this opportunity for the right to challenge contract. This one was a very, very, very superb matchup. These two guys trading counters, trading reversals. These guys have a great chemistry themselves together, but it won't be talking about the great action in the ring. Honestly, everybody will be talking about the result as Ibushi looked for the Kamigoye. Jay White reversed into a backslide with his feet on the top ropes for the victory to leave Power Struggle with the right to challenge for the IWGP Dual Gold at Wrestle Kingdom 15 for the first time in 17 defenses of the G1 Climax tournament briefcase. This is the first man to win the briefcase from the winner of the G1 Climax, Switchblade Jay White, making history at Power Struggle, and now he moves on to Wrestle Kingdom 15. He defeated Kota Ibushi in 18 minutes and 47 seconds. Like I said, this one was a very good match, but most of all, an absolute shocking result. I think there was some people that kind of saw it coming, but I don't think too many people were willing to go out on that limb and predict that Jay White would get the victory in this one. I know I predicted Ibushi. I was wrong. I am sorry. I should have breathed with the Switchblade, as I always do. The best heel in the business does it again and shocks the New Japan Pro Wrestling fan base and the world in general. People have gone as far as calling Kota Ibushi the Japanese Otis. You could clearly
the disrespect.
Clearly that was not from a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan. That was from a WWE fan who just looks from the outside looking in. But this was a shocker with Ibushi losing his briefcase, and it really took the wind out of everyone in the crowd in Osaka. Like, there was just a gasp when White won with this. Even the small little touches, like the young lions at ringside trying to tell the referee that Jay White had his feet on the rope, was just excellent touches. I gave this match 3 3/4 stars, but in general, with the result, this was a 5-star segment because it's going to get people talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. I will start with you, Stat King. What was your thoughts on the match and then the result?
So Kota Ibushi. Okay, so we'll start with the match. The match itself was very good. I also gave it about 3.5, 3 3/4 stars. But with the overall segment, Ibushi tried to call himself a god by being the first person since Tenzan to go back-to-back 2003, 2004 as a G1 Climax winner, and to put a little twist on lyrics from your favorite rapper, said, "What's a king to a god? No, it's the other way around this time. Because what is a god to King Switchblade? This man, like, he himself was screwed out of the finals when Ishii pins him at the G1. So he says, you know what? I can beat this guy. I've already done it. Not only did I do it in the G1, I did it at Wrestle Kingdom. What's Osaka? Osaka's nothing compared to... we're doing
Osaka
this.
is something because that's the same place he won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and it's the same pay-per-view he made his return from Excursion 3 years ago. So don't Switchblade at Power Struggle.
even more reason for him to feel as though he can do it, to be so brazen as to not put his feet on the bottom rope, the middle, the top rope. He's saying, this is my house. Osaka is my house now. And just I loved all of it, and just the overreaction from people on the internet has been incredible. I've seen people say that this made the G1 mean absolutely nothing. It's a clear-cut example of when the first thing that came to my mind when I'm watching it outside of the King to a God thing was when Heyman was saying, with with Taker and Lesnar, the smallest number becomes the most important number. And now 16-1, you have that chance. Now every single time we go into a briefcase match or briefcase defense, there's always going to be that lingering thing in the back of the mind. Maybe they're going to do it again. Yeah. And so that I think is really great. I just say Gato, his ability to do things on the fly when it comes to 2020 and this pandemic, the King of Pro Wrestling Provisional Trophy, just how they have just adapted to everything. And he's given us some shocking happenings because of it. So kudos to him, kudos to all of them. I'm now looking forward to Jay White being the champion coming out of Wrestle Kingdom. That's my early prediction already.
There you go. We getting hot takes and early predictions. Chris G.
I mean, I love the match. The back and forth was great. Minimal interference, which was good because too much interference fucks things up sometimes,
Which we'll get to.
Yeah. You said Power Struggle is Jay White's pay-per-view.
Yes.
Oh, that's it. He is now the Power Struggle Poppy. That's it. You don't mess with the Power Struggle Poppy. The Switchblade Jay White. I didn't see it coming, and this is why I feel mixed. So obviously that's my rating for the match. Because when the fuck is Kota Ibushi gonna get some love around here? The man has been so loyal. He looks like a Greek god. Speaking of gods, like John said, the man looks like a Greek god. Like, I don't understand how, he doesn't get a run yet, but hopefully this is part of a long-term plan with Jay White getting the briefcase and potentially becoming champion.
Should be interesting for sure. Ness.
I'm going to try to unpack a lot in a short time. So when Jay White initially challenged for, the briefcase, I'm just thinking, all right, this is something that, Ibushi has to do in the interim up until, we get ready to be on the road to Wrestle Kingdom. Not in a million years would I thought that Ibushi would have actually lost this briefcase to Jay White. And sentiments that Chris said, like, wow, this dude just, you lose at Wrestle Kingdom, you get a chance to go back, you win, and then you lose it again. So it's just like, trust me, I know some shitty booking from Gato being a Naito and an LIJ fan. Trust me. So I definitely understand the heartache of those out there that run with Ibushi. But overall, the match was amazing. These guys definitely had great chemistry. And for the people that are out there complaining, Jay White had to cheat to win. So it's not like Ibushi got beat clean. He lost he went out with a strong, like basically looking strong because he didn't lose clean, he didn't get pinned. Also, people that complain about things being predictable, things that always being the same. This was the craziest curveball that we've seen all night on the event, and just for people to compare to another company that does things that aren't the best and most of the conventional things, like, don't do that. Wrestling fans, the majority, I'm not gonna say the majority of them don't know what they want. Again, like I said, everybody's like, oh, this is just gonna be a regular match that Ibushi's gonna win. Ibushi didn't win. Now it's like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. Like, which one do you like? Which one is it? Like, you guys don't want, you don't want the same thing over and over in the monotony, or do you want to be hit with a shocker and a curveball and be surprised by things? So, as much as I don't like the idea of Ibushi losing his opportunity, I like the fact that it was out of left field and it wasn't something that we were able to predict. So that is definitely something that will keep me looking, keep me watching the further the story along, because these guys are definitely not over. We'll get into it more as the night progresses. But also, Power Struggle, just the term itself, Bullet Club seems to be vying for a lot of power in New Japan. Kenta has the briefcase for the shot at the United States title. Jay White just got the briefcase for the main event at the Tokyo Dome against whoever won of Naito versus Evil. Again, Evil's in the main event of Power Struggle, so Bullet Club is looking strong right now. As they've had somewhat of a year, things going back and forth for them, but right now at this moment after this match, they're really on top of New Japan, so to speak, in a way. So that's definitely a feather in their caps.
Absolutely. I think that one thing we could say for sure, in New Japan, Switchblade Jay White has been the best character since his return in the G1 Climax 30. His character work in that tournament, he was the best guy when it came to like character work. His mic work, his heel work was just phenomenal there. And this is a spark that I think New Japan needed at this time. I think things would have been too predictable going into Wrestle Kingdom, and now with two back-to-back shows, we have created an interesting dynamic with the world title scene.
I gave that match 4 stars. Great match. Surprise ending. That definitely put it over for me. Again, I definitely didn't see it coming, but I'm not upset that it happened.
Fair enough. So that brings us to the main event of Power Struggle 2020, Tetsuya Naito versus Evil for the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships. This one has been one of the main feuds in New Japan since their return from lockdown. It was Evil that turned his back on his fellow LIJ member, his LIJ leader, his mentor in a lot of states, in a lot of senses, Tetsuya Naito, after winning the New Japan Cup 2020 to join the Bullet Club. They have met 3 times in 2020, with Evil holding a 2-1 record after these two traded off the IWGP Dual Gold over the summer. But Evil defeated Naito in the G1 Climax 30 to earn this opportunity here. This one, in my opinion, was the best match these two guys have fought. I thought the Summer Struggle match was very strong. I thought the Dominion match was not what I expect from a IWGP heavyweight main event type of matchup. And I thought the match in the G1 was It was probably one of the weaker main events of the G1. But this one here was fun in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it was due to how this match was pretty much booked like a 1998 Attitude Era match. There was a lot of interference from the spoiler Dick Togo. We also had Yujiro Takahashi coming down after Togo yoked up Naito with the choker once again. Yujiro came in with his Pip Cane and hit Pimp Juice on his former tag team partner Naito. But this led to Sonata looking clean as a motherfucker with the all white, with the clean white on white. Nice button down with the tight pants and the white shoes. Came down and made the save. He got rid of Yujiro and Dick Togo, but that wasn't all of the interference, as Switchblade Jay White came down trying to first he teased that he was going to finally attack Evil, but of course he said no and instead attacked Naito and looked to set up an all Bullet Club Wrestle Kingdom main event. He was about to hit the Blade Runner when the Kota Ibushi came down to make the save, running off Switchblade, but Evil got in his face and he got a kick from Ibushi in return. And then Ibushi chased off Switchblade. It came down to the 2 men once again, and what's been the theme of this rivalry is when it's one-on-one, Naito wins. He reversed everything as Evil into a huge slap and Valentia, and then he finished off Evil with Destino for the win to successfully defend the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships. This is Tetsuya Naito's first ever successful title defense of the main gold in New Japan. Bravo. Let's give it up for Ness. Let's give it up for Naito. Let's give it up for LIJ. Finally.
It's a night of history.
Night of history in this one with the semi-main event and the main event. This main event was absolutely chaotic with a bunch of interference, but at the same time, it was exciting because of what happened in the semi-main event with Switchblade winning. There was that possibility that they were going to give us an all Bullet Club match, so it helped out this match with keeping you on the edge of your seat at the end if Switchblade was actually going to help Evil get the victory to set up that all Bullet Club Wrestle Kingdom match. So now it is going to be Naito versus Switchblade at Wrestle Kingdom 15. For right now, I give the match itself 3.5 stars. After the match, Switchblade came out and said that he is taking the night off on January 4th. Naito can do whatever he wants to do, and he is taking his shot at the IWGP Dual Gold on January 5th at Wrestle Kingdom 15. This led to Kota Ibushi coming down and chasing off Switchblade to kind of keep himself in the mix. So first, let's talk about the match, guys. What was your thoughts on this matchup? Let's start with you, Ness.
Well, you already know I'm about to be extremely biased because my guy, the Stardust Genius, retained both of his titles in the main event of Power Struggle. The match itself, all right, now I'm going to turn down the biasness, to be completely honest. I give this match like 3 3/4 stars. Too much outside interference going on. Too many ref bumps. Like the ref got pulled out of the ring at one point, when he's counting for the 3 count. And then, both guys end up running into the ref as the match is winding down. So I think that was a little bit too much. I think it went on a little bit too long. Again, the all outside stuff. The match itself, these guys work great. Obviously, they have great chemistry. They were teaming together, and I wouldn't call them best friends, but people that on a personal level and been around, they make for the better matches, and that's what this definitely showed in this match. I had no doubt that Naito was going to win this, so this was just regular. It was just like, all right, this is just something to keep him busy. But yeah, now I also shout out to J News because both of our guy Sonata coming out looking fresh to death in those Louboutin shoes, all white, just straight drippy. I'm like, whoo! He takes out Dick Togo and Yujiro Takahashi, getting both of those guys the fuck out of there. Literally carrying one, has the other one in a headlock, just moseying all out. I'm like, that was great. But I enjoyed the match. I just think they did a little bit. It was a little bit too hokey with all the interference, but I also like that they teased the Jay White and Evil little interaction there, because we all know that there's literally has been a power struggle in the Bullet Club between these two guys. Evil being the interim quote unquote leader, while Jay White was out due to the COVID, and him coming back, and he wants to reclaim that spot. For somebody that he feels as though this guy comes out of left field now, he's trying to take the reins, so to speak. But now Jay White is literally back in the position of the head of the Bullet Club. So I want to see where that goes, because even in his post-match promo, he said, I set Evil up to win and he failed. That's not going to be taken lightly, I don't think. So I want to see where those guys go from there.
Stacking.
So I think, for me, this match started out a little weak to me because of just how insane the ending of the previous match was. To me, it kind of pulled, I was still thinking about that. So for me, it took a little bit while to get into the match, which luckily this was like 30 minutes long. So I was able to get back into the match. But with all the different run-ins and interferences, I kind of liked it. Simply because, to Ness's point about this being called Power Struggle, you see just everybody that's trying to jockey for position and what they have at their disposal to try to do that. You have Evil with Dick Togo, you have Evil using Yujiro Takahashi, but then also Naito, he's not coming to the dance unprepared either. He's got Sonata who's going to be able to come out and help him. So I think, to me, in a sense, that kind of added to the match in a way, because it just made it that much more important. even though this is already for the heavyweight title and the Intercontinental title, it just added that extra layer of people are willing to do whatever it takes to try to make sure that they win this match. I, of course, love the outcome. I'm a big Naito fan, so I think that this worked out well, and I like the possibility of Jay White versus Naito for the titles at Wrestle Kingdom. I gave this one about 3.5 to 3 3/4 stars as well.
Chris G.
I like the match. I agree with you guys. I think way too much interference, even though it made sense, the guys that were involved. But, main event, double title on the line. I feel like too much interference for that. Poor Red Shoes got beat the fuck up like 2 or 3 times. Poor guy can't catch a break. You got way too many ref bumps for that guy, man. Give him a raise. But it was a solid main event. The right guy won. I'm looking forward to the match. I will say Sonata in the all white. Whew, there was only 2 things he either came out. He was either giving out a sermon or he was on a Tinder date. And he canceled both to help his boy out. So that's my man. Props to him.
Yeah,
I'll give this match 3.5 stars.
He put his priorities in order.
Absolutely.
Imagine him on the Tinder.
Tinder.
Imagine him on a Tinder date, like just with his phone, watching on New Japan World, and just like 1 sec, and then he leaves to go help. Oh man, that'd be great.
He's right across the street at the Osaka Fridays, probably. So, so you never know there. What are your guys' thoughts on potentially Switchblade getting the matchup on January 5th? I like how the announcers explain that Switchblade wants to be the final guy with the IWGP Gold, so that's why he's calling his shot on the second night of Wrestle Kingdom, not the traditional January 4th night. And do you think that this potentially leaves open Naito to verse Ibushi on January 4th to set up who versus Switchblade on January 5th? I'll start with you, Chris G.
Well, I don't anticipate that, but that would be dope if Kota would challenge for the title on the first night and then go on to win, and then have him and Jay White. But I don't see it happening, honestly.
You don't see it happen. So what do you see happening on January 4th? Because they're going to have a main event for January 4th. I don't see them putting the IWGP junior heavyweight title. Like last year, they could have done like Hiromu versus Osprey in the main event of night 1, but they went with the whole tournament to decide the unified titles. With Taiji Shimori, you don't really see that. The never openweight title, it has elevated to a secondary title, but I can't see that main eventing night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom. So it kind of leaves it open for Naito to defend the titles on January 4th. So where do you see it going there as the main event on January 4th?
Well, I was kind of on the assumption that maybe Mox will be able to come for Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know if that's confirmed, if he's not going to be there or he will be there. I'm not sure, but if he's able to make it, I think him and Kenta could potentially main event the first night. I think they want to give the open weight, the never open weight title does have that feel. I think they want to try to elevate the U.S. title too when they're able to bring it back. So why not the first night of Wrestle Kingdom? Or maybe Naito defends the IC championship the first night and then has to defend the heavyweight championship the second night. Just a shot in the dark.
That is a good prediction there. How about you, Ness?
I don't know who it would be exactly. Maybe it would be Ibushi because there were some underlining things going on in the post-match promo with Jay White just, beating home the fact that he's like, oh, I got the briefcase now. You have nothing. Naito has both titles. You have nothing. And for a second there, it looked like Ibushi was planning on thinking about going after Naito for a little bit, If he didn't just come out and do it, that's kind of the vibe that I got, he's just looking over his shoulder as Naito's like on the ground trying to make sense of everything that's going on at the moment. But I would like to see that match. If it's not with Ibushi, now this is totally a shot in the dark. I want Sonata to somehow get
This
a
guy.
shot at.
This
I
guy.
want to look.
We don't have J News on. I didn't expect that from you.
Hey, I'm gonna hold this down for J News. If wrestling guys, New Japan guys, Gato, if you come across this video, give Sonata the shot at the first night main event of Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th. Have it be Naito versus Sonata. It doesn't need to be no more turns, no more anything negative. It can just be champ versus challenger, face versus face, brother versus brother, LIJ member versus LIJ member. Make it happen. And it doesn't need to be anything bad after the fact. You know, it could be a winner and a loser, and it's just that. We don't need any more dissension in the LIJ camp. But again, that's just me being biased. That's my fanboy side showing. But that's what I would like to see happen.
So screw Ibushi, give Sonata a chance.
Hey, he already got screwed, you know, so.
Hey, he got screwed. That's why he deserves a shot at January 4th. It's
I can see that. I can see that.
So there are a number of possibilities. I think that you could have, if they are able to get Moxley back, I think that's a match that could main event January 4th, because that is a great way to reintroduce the United States Championship in the hierarchy of championships. Not that will, to me, downgrade the never open weight, but just to say that, hey, this is here. Kenta has had this briefcase for months now, and there's a reason why. Moxley has been champion, but we couldn't have him here. Now we are, and so we want to give that main event level picture, that main event level shot of this is something that can main event a Wrestle Kingdom match. Alternatively, you could have I don't know if I'd say Sonata, but I would say while he doesn't have the junior heavyweight title anymore, you could have, even if it's non-title, you could have Hiromu versus Naito, simply because we never got a chance to see that match from the anniversary show. And also Ibushi is also an option as well. So I think what they have is they have a wide range of things to play with, and they have a lot of time to kind of figure out what they do want to do. But I do think that Naito will be defending it on night one. So maybe it will be Ibushi.
Yeah, I mean, even if Moxley is able to be at Wrestle Kingdom, I don't see them having two guys who have never been in the Tokyo Dome main event in Moxley and Kenta main eventing the show. If Tanahashi had won the briefcase, then I could see your guys' point of putting Moxley versus Tanahashi, because that's the type of match that can, that will sell seats. That will put butts in the seats. Kenta versus Moxley, I don't see that getting 20,000 people in the seats. But
I mean, that's the thing. They don't got to worry about filling the stadium, because
but 20,000 is a lot of people during the pandemic when you don't have the U.S. because a lot of I think 40% of their audience over the last couple of years, especially since the Jericho Omega match, has been from outside of Japan. So if you don't have that, 20,000 is saying something during this whole global pandemic. This is going to be the most attended professional wrestling show since this whole pandemic started. So I think they need that big time matchup to kind of set up the 2-night Wrestle Kingdom. So I also think that they want to set up Switchblade being with the advantage on January 5th. So I don't see Naito not defending on January 4th. It's going to further the story of Switchblade setting himself up to win the title on January 5th if Naito has to defend on January 4th. And I'm hoping Kota Ibushi can finally get his opportunity, that he's not robbed and screwed completely, and that he gets his shot on January 4th, and then potentially has a chance to beat Jay White, because now he is 0-3 against Jay White in 2020. So
good.
Yeah, but that'll be a continuation, from last year. Both like 3 out of the 4 guys that were in the main events are pretty much. There's possibly 3 of them returning to the main event of Wrestle Kingdom coming up this year, 2021. So that's just long-term booking. Eventually, Gato gets it right. Broke clocks twice is right at least twice a day. So maybe it'll be some. Yeah, I know,
Trying to
right?
cheat Gato
Yeah.
because of what he does to LH. Look at this.
I'm trying to make sense of this guy's booking after screwing over all of my favorites this
Of
year.
course, of course. But I do give it up for Gato because that was my question when they announced it was going to be the 2-night Wrestle Kingdom show. That last year we had the mini tournament to decide the unified champions. How are they going to do this again and build up 2 big time main events for the 2 nights? And I think Jay White winning the briefcase has kind of set up a situation where now we can get 2 title matches on back-to-back shows. So give it up for Gato. But is Gato one of the MVPs? We will start off with that for New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle 2020. Who is your MVP of the show, Chris G?
Oh, I'm going with the Switchblade. Book his way into the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, baby. That's how you do it.
Ness?
I gotta go with the Switchblade.
Stat King?
You know who I'm going with. Switchblade, of course.
I gotta make it unanimous. Yes, Switchblade Jay White is the MVP of the show. He's the guy that everybody's gonna talk about coming out of Power Struggle 2020. LVP Jabroni of the night. We will start with you, Stat King.
I think we may be unanimous here as well. Great O'Con. I feel for you, sir, but I feel for you. That's all I can say.
Chris G.
Well, I never want to see those chops again.
Actually, wait. To be fair, I guess you could make an argument that the real LVP is Will Osprey for storyline choosing Great O'Con.
Out of everyone, he could have.
Out of everybody,
he was too dapper down today, man.
But see, yeah, there's a balance.
LVPs
Absolutely.
don't dress like that.
Absolutely, Ness.
Oh man, I got this is going to be a 3-way LVP because I just couldn't choose one. My first LVP is Zack Sabre Jr. for getting his shoelaces tied for him to lose the match. The second LVP definitely is the Great O'Con. Just self-explanatory. And unfortunately, I have to go with this. My last LVP, Kota Ibushi. Once again,
come on.
I had to. It's
not his fault.
I get it. It's not his fault, but it happened.
He got screwed.
He got screwed, but in the end, he lost it. So
Bushi screwed Bushi.
Yeah,
well, cut it out.
Hey, man. You know what? I'll take that back. I'm sorry. I apologize to Bushi. I take that back. But definitely Great O'Con, you're definitely keeping that shit. And Zack Sabre Jr., you're definitely keeping it too.
I can't blame you on either of those, but I'm going to agree with Stag King and Chris G. Great O'Con, LVP. Once again, after winning the LVP of the G1 Climax 30 Finals show, he wins it again here. And match of the night, I am going to go with the Never Openweight Championship match between Shingo Takagi and Minoru Suzuki. They beat the hell out of each other. I needed an ice pack and a cigarette once again after a Suzuki match. Chris G.
Oh, after that, I needed an ice cold beer and a blunt. And that's exactly what I got. That's exactly what I did because that was my match of the night as well.
Stacking.
I'm going as well with the Never Openweight Championship. Those two guys I don't know if they hate each other in real life or not, but if they don't, amazing ability to make me think that you do. So yeah, definitely match of the night for me.
Ness.
And I'm just going to make it unanimous. Great showing from both of these guys. I always love how they perform and just in their own merits. But then when they face off against each other, it's always a great thing to see.
I think they won it in Summer Struggle. They got the most votes for match of the night there, and they do it again here. And in our second to last thing, put your thumbs in the middle, guys. So thumbs up, thumbs down for Power Struggle 2020 in 3, 2, 1. All right, and around the board, what do you give out of 10 for Power Struggle 2020? We'll start with you, Ness.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. I'm going to say every match because clearly we know that every match didn't deliver like that. But, 5 out of the 6 definitely delivered. Surprises, curveballs, stories being continued, everything that we look for in wrestling. especially being fans of today, that we have a better knowledge of things that are going on, but yet still there's that little curtain of kayfabe that we can, still appreciate at times. So I think that we got all of that in this event today. So I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Chris G.
Yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10 too. Just the action throughout the card was good. The continuing of some storylines, curveballs, it had its lows, but the lows weren't anything bad, like superiorly bad. So 8 out of 10 is good.
Stat King.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. I could maybe drop it down to a 7.5 simply because of that Okada-Karn match. But look, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna have that mouth guard with like the fang teeth, like, you got to do something more than just the weird ass chops. Like, you got, like, I don't know. I'm just expecting. I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, this guy could kill this guy. Oh no, he's not going to. Okay, all right. But overall, amazing pay-per-view regardless, and just the turn of events, just of how this pay-per-view will be remembered from a historical standpoint, of just having the briefcase winner lose for the first time ever. I think that's going to be what this pay-per-view is remembered for the most, and then maybe the Shingo and Suzuki match. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me.
You guys convinced me. I think I was leaning more towards 7.5, but I will go 8 out of 10. The Shingo and Suzuki match definitely was the best match of the night. But like Stat King said, this show is going to be remembered for Switchblade Jay White being the one in 16-1 and getting the G1 Climax briefcase for the first time, being a person to beat the winner of the G1 Climax. Great stuff. Memorable, historic event here due to that, and we got the best Evil versus Naito match of all their matches in 2020. So this one gets a thumbs up, 8 out of 10 from me. So that is all for New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle 2020 pay-per-view roundtable review. You guys know what to do. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with all your wrestling fans and friends. Comment down below and tell us what you thought about the show, your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP, what you thought about the crowd, and the big result with Switchblade defeating Kota Ibushi to get the G1 Climax briefcase and move on to Wrestle Kingdom 15. Of course, the iCard down at the bottom, you can push that to subscribe, and the bell below that to stay notified for all the great content right here on True Hill Heat. Click all notifications to always stay up to date. So for the host of Dark Power, the Stat King.
Thanks for watching, guys. Go catch me on Dark Power.
For the Roundtable Rebel himself, the 3-time Baby Making Champion Ness.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I had a great time with my good brothers here. Hope you had a great time watching us, and we're going to have way more stuff for you to review and to watch on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Subscribe.
For the co-host of Joints and Jabronis and Wednesday Night Warriors, Chris G.
Oh yeah, everybody be safe, smoke good, wash your hands, wear a mask.
Watch all the great content from these brothers, especially Review of Honor with Ness and Stat King, our latest show. You can see me on True Hill Heat every single Saturday, breaking down all the latest wrestling news and previewing the big shows. Wednesdays, you can see me live on Wrestle 2 YouTube channel. We're on Wrestling Daily with Alex McCarthy. But it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle 2020 pay-per-view roundtable review. We are signing off until next time.